2 years ago, I would have told you that life is against me. Today, I know I was completely wrong. Do you know that feeling that everyone in your class or in your circle is better and more successful than you? Or at least that they need less effort to achieve the same thing? That's exactly how I felt for a very long time, and every now and then I still feel that way. But what if I told you it's not because you have no talent? What if it's not because you're not good enough? Because the problem isn't your skills or your intelligence. It's much more about the way you think about others and about yourself. A few years ago, I was often very envious of my friends and acquaintances. Most of them had and still have a lot more money than me. Others had a much cooler social life, went out partying almost every weekend and got better grades, especially because I was never the best student at school and almost had to repeat a year. That hit me really hard, and I kept asking why life is so unfair. And that brings us to our first problem. 1. Life is unfair. My mum preached that sentence to me almost every day, and I didn't want to hear it, because I never understood why my buddies were allowed to stay out later than me, even though we were exactly the same age and we all had to go back to school the next morning. It's the same with money, and that's not just something that happens as a kid. There will always be people around you who either earn more or get more from their parents. On top of that, as a kid, it's not really a big deal, because having less money than your friends barely affects your life at that age. As an adult, though, your income and your savings basically decide your life, which is why it's important to learn early on that not everything is fair. And that's exactly what my mum always taught me. To accept life the way it is, even when it's unfair, because that starts with your paycheck and runs all the way through your health to your fate. Which brings me to the next point. 2. Accept your fate as it is. Your fate is essentially a random number generator. You can force a lot of things if you work hard, efficiently, and the right way. For example, you leave yourself no choice but to succeed at what you do. You're forcing it to happen. But if you spend all day scrolling TikTok or just go through the motions at a job you're unhappy with without ever asking yourself what would actually make you happy, then you're leaving your entire life up to chance, up to fate. But even if you work hard and do everything you can to get better at something or make your life genuinely fulfilling, you can still get hit by a major stroke of bad luck. I, for example, finally got a decent handle on my life in 10th grade. I was finally getting good grades, working out 4 times a week, and had a plan for how I'd build a business in the future. But then, right at the start of the new year, my parents separated out of nowhere. From that point on, everything went downhill. We had even more money problems, my grades got noticeably worse again, and all my plans became useless because I first had to adjust to a completely new life. But I kept going. I didn't give up, even though it was very hard, emotionally too. On the contrary, I actually used the separation as motivation to get out of that pretty messed up situation. And I promised myself I'd get good grades so I could land a good job and eventually earn good money. That's also exactly why the best, most successful and richest people often come from the worst backgrounds, because those are precisely the people who didn't give up, because they wanted to change something in their lives. Kids who have rich parents simply don't have the motivation to put themselves through sleepless nights, because things are already going fine for them. Take Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. As a child, he was out sweeping streets. His parents belonged to the absolute lower class of Portugal, and yet today he's one of the best footballers to have ever lived on this planet, because he didn't give up. Because he had a vision and an incredible drive to escape absolute poverty and do the thing that made him happy, playing football. And you should ask yourself that exact same question. 3. What makes me happy, and what do I actually want to achieve? This question is so essential because if you find your own personal answer to it, even if it takes years, I can promise you that you'll no longer be envious of anyone or feel unfairly treated, because you'll be working towards that vision you'll do everything you can to be happy. Because isn't that exactly what you want to achieve in life? You want to be happy. And the happy people aren't the ones who have it best or whose fate is kindest. The happy people are the ones who make the best of even the most miserable situation and become happy through that. Because a lot of people forget to actually live in the midst of all the comparing and showing off material things. In my opinion, it's far more important to lead an inwardly happy and fulfilled life than to drive a Ferrari while being unhappy, or to just chill on the couch all day doing nothing. That doesn't mean driving a Ferrari is bad or that you should just settle for whatever you have. You should still have a goal or a vision in front of you, because success is defined by happiness, not by money or anything like that. Money is a tool that helps you take a step toward being happy, but it should never be the sole reason you're happy. For example, if traveling makes you happy, it makes you happy because you meet new people, because you create memories, and because you see new countries. Money, in that case, is just the tool, because without money, you couldn't travel. And the most important question in your life still remains: what makes you happy? But that's a topic for another video. I hope to see you again soon. Always stay cheerful and enjoy your life. You only get one. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell.